Everybody, welcome back to TerraFirmaCraft Season 5, Episode 50 with me, Sid. 50 episodes in. We already have, well, the makings of steel. We don't actually have the steel yet, but we, just need to hit it and hit it with a hammer a bit. It's not there, and it's going to take a while. That's another thing. And we already have our Thorncraft base. It's glorious, isn't it? Which of course is what we did last episode. If you can hear the kids outside playing, unfortunately it's another overly hot day, and consequently we are having to play with the window open, and there's there's plenty I could do about it. I ain't going to do anything about it, but there is plenty I could do about it. Right, I think first things first, we just need to make a couple of barrels, because I need this thing to make me more creosote, and the only way that's going to happen is if I empty it. Not creosote, coal coke. I'm not entirely sure how much coal coke we're going to need to get going on our thing. Why? Interesting. Okay, we shall seal you. We'll pop that one there and continue. 1, 2, and then they go, and 1, 2, 3, and in they go. Right, let's leave that going. Reason being is this: we've already worked out the alloy smelter is now doable. It's a long way off, but it is doable. And the alloy smelter, if we can get on the, I don't know whether you can get the recipes from there, but if we do it the other way around, let's have a look at steel and get a caps lock off, because apparently I've got that on for some reason. Steel, 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 none of those. Where are you? Find the right steel. Black steel. Steel is made with high carbon steel, which is made with pig iron. Pig iron, as we know, can be made in a blast furnace. It can be put in a blast furnace like that. It's very expensive on this stuff, but yeah. It can go into an arc furnace, and it can go into an alloy smelter as iron, flux, and coal powder, which coal powder we can make using a quern, but we can also make it using a sag mill, which ultimately I suppose we would... Oh, we can get it out of jet. Interesting. 25 feet, yeah, so there are lots of extra chances of getting it out of some of these. So that's all doable. The only thing we need is the alloy smelter and some way of generating power. Now, power is going to be more awkward, so if we have a look at immersive, because that's probably the early way to go, is kinetic dynamo, iron, copper, copper wire. Make it with wire cutters, and those to make that. That actually appears altogether way too easy. I was expecting to have to torture you with that draw plate. Okay, well, that's not too bad. So, kinetic dynamo, and then probably a windmill. Obviously, we'll start off with a simple windmill, but you can get up to there, and that requires a bit of steel, so that would be another steel ingot, and fabric, which we can make with burlap and wool and silk. So I think all of this is doable. It's just a lengthy process, and right now I would like to work more on getting the home for my Thorncraft stuff developed than faffing around with that. So what I am going to do is I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to stick 32 and 32. Should be more than adequate. We should have our chisel, we've got a hammer, we've got a pick. We are good to rock and roll. So we're going to go down here. I'm going to try and extend or expand this thing out without collapsing the structure around us, so we can do this quite easily with the use of these, and that will give me the ability to at least go out like that quite simply. Now I'm going to go and just do these as rocks. Two reasons. One is it's a damn sight faster, and I also would like to, if I can, I don't know. You see, what I need to do is I want almost like a cathedral-like structure down here. So we come in on this level, and then this level kind of peters off down, and we'll get spawning. Oh, bugger. Yeah, that's the thing, of course. I need to remember that. Well, he died then. That was as seriously I thought I was going to die moment. Okay, so I also need to bring more down bring down some more smooth shale, which is there. We can, you know, I can't chisel that unfortunately because there's too much stuff above it, and I'm going to have to take a certain chance and break that down, but we'll work this round. At the moment this is perfectly safe because we've got the supports in. Oh, and we've got a garnet. How nice. Anyway, let me continue excavating for a little while. I'll come back when I'm done on the first stage, just to let you see what we've got done, and also how I'm going to deal with lighting and spawning, because to me half of the skill of building is building in such a way that the mobs don't spawn. That is my thought process on this, if you like. So yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of digging and I shall be right back with you. Alright, getting very little done actually, but I did want to check something. I keep on forgetting we're in 1.7, which means that we actually had some nice glowstone textures in this version of Minecraft, as opposed to the rather repulsive version textures we had or have in the newer version. I am not a fan, suffice it to say. So I'm just looking at, oh, that's not what I wanted. I want to put you away. I'm just looking at the options for glowstone, because the first thing I noticed is that that is a spawnable block. I can't put a thing, but I can put a glowstone, which looks quite nice. Now down here we are at the stage where I want to just take out these supports, and taking out the supports shouldn't cause it to check for cave-ins. Shouldn't being the operative word. So we are going to bring a section of roof down like this. Now, it doesn't matter at this stage that is too high up. We can fix that after the fact. But right now we've got a safe floor area in there here. We do need to, I think actually you do need to go out one more, and possibly even more that way, but we will correct that in a moment. Actually I should have created it now, because I've just realized that what I've effectively done is stop me putting the support level that these blocks work at is actually quite specific. Let me just take these out a second. So the level that these blocks provide support at is anything over and above. So if I were to mine that block, it's not necessarily going to stop a caving from further up, but it will stop that block and below caving in. So I need to, and it will do that for 3 blocks. So what I need to actually do is just take these out again, and because I've got a little bit carried away, because I want to take out that and that, and possibly more. I don't know, I'll have to think about the shape that I'm going for. But once we've got this covered up on the top, we can then start to shape out the floor. And as I've said, I want stairs going down in the 4 cardinal directions, and we'll do something fancy at the bottom. But right now we just need to ensure that this is cave-in proof, because the last thing we want is a cave-in. If I were to, say, take these 2 blocks out. The other thing is, when you're digging around these things, just be careful, because sometimes you'll knock out the support, and if you don't notice, you can end up with the cave on your head, because you'll carry on mining the block, and the support of course is no longer there. And finally, I suppose the obvious one is, if you are in the slightest doubt whether something is supported, don't trust it. You know, because having a cave dropped on your head will often offend. Yeah. Oop, let me see. So always, when you're mining in TFC, just check what you're mining, because it will make a huge difference between, you know, living and dying. So that will give me those corners, and then we can drop out the supports and get this ceiling in. Now I'm actually tempted to do this, because I think it will look better than a square. Alright, now we're caving proof, so now I'm actually going to use the chisel, I think, just to take out these floor sections, just because we can. I'm also curious as to the lighting situation and how this is going to work. So once I've taken out these floor sections, what we are going to do, I might lose a bit of glowstone in the process, but I think it's worth the experiment, is oh, we could probably do it here actually. If I come down here and take out that, and then place one of those in, then we can take you out and this bit area is lit. However, if I place that on top, pitch black, what happens if I were to change my chisel mode to that? That works. Okay, right, so we can take out those and we can replace them with chiseled versions of that block. That's a start. Basically, hidden lighting and unspawnable blocks is my solution here. And we do need to take out all of these anyway, so we might as well take those out. And then we're going to be using, I think, well, I know think about it, I'm going to be using the Thorncraft materials that we've been given. So we are going to be using great wood, just because it is such a brilliant material for this, and it's abundant. And that's key. in TerraFirmaCraft, abundancy of the materials for building is almost is a vital. You know, you can't hide the fact. Excellent. Right. So, and then we can just start with the stairs coming down like that, and everything is still lit. Excellent. Right, let me carry on. I'll be back in a moment. All right, just a quick comeback. So just to let you know where we are, what we've done, and where we're getting. So we're down to the level that I want to drop this down, and this is going to drop down in this kind of a dome. That will come down to a 3 high tunnel, will be 4 high realistically, because we'll be replacing that with a block, maybe some, you know, some shaping to it, maybe even leave it 4 high. I don't know yet. But we've hit a problem. We've hit a snag. We've got spawnable blocks. Now, it's not spawnable. It's not a problem, because we are going to obviously slab our corridors. But I don't want them to be so dark that things. Now, if I do that, that is actually illuminating through the slabs, which is interesting. Normally, Minecraft slabs obviously won't transmit light, but these ones are, which is strange. But I'm not going to complain. So using the jack-o'-lanterns will just save us a little bit on the old Hoofer whatchamajig stuff. However, we need to repeat this. Now I have, let me just get this right. That is there. We're going back 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm kind of, that's got to go back 1 and then and back again. Okay, that's fine. So that is coming out there, there, and there. The sheer maths of trying to work out what I can chop out and what I can't is quite scary, but we are making progress. How much we make this building work here has already taken me a good 45 minutes to an hour. It is slow, it is painful, it is, well, let's face facts, it's TerraFirmaCraft building. There's no way of making that any better than it actually is. It's probably night time. I am running low on food, so I better go and just check on a few things, do my bits, and that's yeah, that's, oh damn it. Stick that in there for now. Yeah, I'll pop some of this stuff away. We are going to use this later, but right now I'm more interested in using this stuff. So I'll be back in a little while. Alright, we have got a semi-structure going here. At this point I want to take out this, that, and that, and that, and that should be supported. The danger is they may collapse from above at that point, because the blocks above that are not supported. However, now they are. So we can push these back like so, till we've got these corners here all done. Then we can I can start pushing in that way as a corridor, which will be interesting. The reason I want to put this block up there is these blocks I want to chisel, and I'm fairly certain that chisel blocks are not supporting, because I've certainly seen enough blocks, so I am kind of cringing every time I do this. I've seen enough blocks collapse out that I'm not going to trust that that is the case. And obviously we need to go 3 that way as well, but that's going to take a little bit of effort. I probably should eat. Always a good idea, but I haven't got any food on me, and it's probably the middle of the night because my sleep patterns are completely shot now. We're working underground, so that's all good. But not a problem. Remember, there are no such things as problems, there's only solutions. I've also got another piece of steel going on because I think I need at least one piece of steel. Well, pig iron I should say, not steel. So steadily making this hallway, we may get to the point where we can build the basic or the first basic room, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to promise anything because this is pretty labor intensive, and you know, it could just be that, you know, I also want to say exactly how much coal coke it takes to make. I can't remember. I'm sure I've done the test before, but I can't remember. So yeah, gonna have to do it again. Anyway, this is starting to take shape, which is a good thing. Albeit I cringe every time I see that one's fine. Is that block that could be unpleasant? So not a problem though. We'll get there eventually, and then we can pop the floor blocks in as well, and everything will be spawn safe, lit, and caving safe. Back in a little while. Alright, we're getting there, steady. It is very steady. But we're starting to get some shape. We are going to come in and change our mode on our chisel, and we are going to format these into more of an arch form, like that, I think. Then these can also be taken back quite a bit. Now I'm quite happy to waste some chisel on this kind of building because, well, you know, I think it adds a certain something to it. I mean, we could in theory even do that. And that gives, yeah, I like that. That works. So this will give us all of the shapes. We'll need to replace that one though. Only problem with the chisel, it is so easy to cock up. And I'm going to leave that as a smooth block, I think, and we'll take you back to there. We'll get rid of that, and we shall replace it with the one block we have. That was fortunate. Oh, you idiot. I don't believe I just did that. Okay, right, we need to replace that block. But we need more of that anyway. But it's starting to come together. This is starting to feel like a build. I mean, you know, who knew, eh? That it could actually start to feel like a build. That would be an amazing concept. Garnet and topaz. I've got an itchy back. Oh man, that is itching. Oh, you know when you can't, and it's one of those itches you can't reach. You just have to sit there and end up looking like Baloo out of the Jungle Book, trying to desperately reach the itch at your back. Yeah, it was one of them. Anyway, we'll pop that in there. That looks good, 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 good. I am happy with that. So, repeat at least as far as this block here on the other side. We can always pop these slabs out and redo them. This thing here, I just want to go and bring you down like that. And I think that will give us, now if it's chisels and bits, I'd replace that bit with the wood, but it's not chisels and bits, so we are stuck with what we got. Let me continue on, and I shall be back with you in a moment. Alright, as we stand, we have a walkway down. We can walk around. We've got 4 cardinal directions to work off of, and we've got 1 already in kind of the bag, if you will. We do need to continue on that direction a little bit. That's going to be a bit more challenging. So we are going to have to start off by taking out these 2 bits of floor and then do that. That will give us the support we need to go that way. 1, 2, 3, like so. Now I'm going to chisel these just because the blocks, you know, are not well. Whilst they're free in this game, they're not got without, you know, effort. And as you can see, I just got my hunger stinks. It's very, very easy to forget to eat in this, and consequently we are definitely going to be taking out that. I'm going to actually, just because I'm phobic about this kind of thing, I'm going to pop one of those in, and then I'm going to pop one of those in, and then I'm going to pop that back in. There we go. That will give us light for a while. Now the question is, how big do I make this room, and what style do I do? This is going to be the research room, so this is where we're going to be taking our Thormonomicon and doing the research. We will also have an infusion room, which is going to be huge and very complicated to dig out, and I will probably almost certainly need to wait until we are a little bit closer in terms of the materials to do that fast, because this is painful, I think is the oh, it always is painful, don't get me wrong. I'm not actually complaining about it being painful. 1, 2, and we can go 3 if I recall correctly, so we should be able to go 1, 2 and 3 that way as well, off of this bit of support. But of course, you know, it doesn't matter if you've got a roof over your head, kind of thing. Yeah. While I remember, because while I'm just digging this, I wanted to point out, now I've gone on record in the past, and I really do need to go and get some food and drink, because things. I've gone on record in the past about TFC, and I don't get me wrong, I love TFC. TFC is they use 24. That's not too bad actually. I mean, it's not good, but it's not too bad either. Let me just get rid of a little bit of that, and we'll keep those. So I've gone on record in the past saying that one of the problems with TFC, and ultimately an actual very difficult problem with TFC, is that the amount of time and effort you can spend growing your crops, milking your cows. These cows have been pregnant for the longest time, incidentally. And oops, don't want to do that. I want to do that. And basically, you know, getting on with living is the Minecraft equivalent of 24 hours a day, or, you know, a 15-minute day if you like, with a 25-minute night, although whatever it works out to be. And, you know, the limiting factor here in TFC and in the real world is man hours, and it always has been, always will be. And, you know, this is why when we talk about doing project work, we talk about man hours. So at the time of recording, I'd just come back from taking my wife to Kentwell Hall, which, for those of you who don't know, it's a Tudor manor, restored in, I think it was 1970, or they started restoring it in 1970, and they do events where they basically get a whole load of volunteers who, you know, are absolutely obsessive about the Tudor period. And they come along and dress in period clothing, and I mean, when I say period, it's not stuff that looks like it comes from the Tudor period. They weave the cloth, they make the shoes, they do everything, and it is period accurate, I suppose, for want of a better word. Now, what that means from point of view of me and this conversation is simply this. I actually saw how many people they had just to simulate the running of an estate in the Tudor period. Now, we are not even in the Tudor period here at the moment. We've just got to steel, and we're one person trying to run this estate. It is incredible the sheer amount of effort that goes into making, for example, a felt hat. You know, we spoke to the ladies who make the hats for the people, the felt hats, and they're felting the wool and, you know, forming them on shapers and stuff. And I will probably talk more about this on another occasion, and they can make 2 hats a day maybe. And it kind of occurred to me that one of the reasons that they appreciate what they have so much more than we do in our time and country is simply this. How much effort, real effort, does it take you as an individual to go and get a pair of shoes? How much effort does it really take you? Now, you can argue that it takes you a number of hours of work to earn the money, but most of us don't actually have a concept of that. It's a thing that we're not very okay with. We haven't really figured this out. I'm just going to get a screenshot here. Whereas if you have to go and make your own shoes, and you have to tan the leather, and maybe you don't know how to tan leather, so maybe you have to go and barter another pair of shoes that you made with the leather worker, with the tanner, to get your leather. And it takes you, say, a day or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or however many days it takes you to make this stuff. Just imagine how much more you would appreciate that stuff. Just imagine how much more meaningful it would be to you as an individual. And it was fascinating seeing that actual process, the stuff that we take for granted, and the things I've spoken about in previous episodes of TerraFirmaCraft. It is incredible to see it actually happen. I'm going to stick 3 more things in. Might as well keep the steel rolling. Eventually we will be doing this a bit more sensibly with iron, but you know, for the time being, we'll get this going. We'll keep that there. So yeah, it was just fascinating to see the process from the other side. You know, just the sheer amount of effort that goes into just making cheese, and the fact that we make cheese to make cheese. They made cheese to preserve the cheese, preserve the dairy, because it went off so quickly. Yeah, all right. So yeah, I just found it very interesting. And if you are in the UK and you're down in the Suffolk way, and you get the opportunity, they run these events several times a year. There's Midsummer, High Summer. There's a Halloween event, which is apparently brilliant, and I think we may end up going to that. Certainly, if my wife's got anything to do with it, we will. And yeah, it's thing, but we've got some progress done. It's slow going. Building in TerraFirmaCraft always is. And until next time, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you soon. And bye for now.